Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the HollingsWorthless Podcast. This will be for Wednesday, the
14th.
Is today the 14th or the 13th?
Today's the 14th.
Okay, so
Tuesday.
this will be for Wednesday, the 15th.
Precisely.
As always, I'm your host, Big Irish J. Hollingsworth. And my guest today, do you go by Eddie J?
Eddie J is cool. Yeah.
Ed? I always know you as Ed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
should I go by your
my MC alias?
Yeah.
Eddie J's cool.
Eddie J. Ed, a.k.a. Eddie J. So, come on, you got to keep the mic close, bro. You got to pick up everything.
There we go.
So, Ed, now it's like, now I want to call you Eddie, because now I'm going to
Either
call
way,
you Ed.
it's
so,
fine.
Ed is what's your title? We're here, so by the way, we're filming this in the world-famous Brad Garrett's Comedy Club Green Room. As you can see, some of the, actually, I would say this probably has the best, like, pictures, art, the best pillows, definitely. But, yeah, the fucking, you've got Rip what's the name? Rip Taylor?
That was before my time.
Brad
always tells him this.
Charles Nelson Riley.
I don't know if you could see it in here. We got Phil Spector over here. That's always fun.
Yeah, that painting. I mean, it's just the pictures in here and
on
art.
velvet though, so that's why it works.
It's amazing. And so we're in the green room here at Brad Garrett's in Las Vegas. And Ed, what's your title here?
I'm one of the managers.
One of the managers.
Yeah.
And so I met Ed. Now it was about 6 months ago, six or
Was it
seven.
only 6 months ago? Yeah,
Maybe it was longer.
Maybe longer. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I did the club here, and Ed was great. And then I fucking was here 2 weeks ago at LA Comedy Club. We hung out some more.
Yeah.
And I knew this from the first time I was here. Ed, not only does he manage here, but I feel like so old saying he's the rapper. Is that the fucking
yeah, rapper, hip hop artist, whatever.
hip hop artist?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
now,
all the same.
how long have you been doing that?
Oh God, 2013, so 7 years.
How old are you now?
28.
Gotcha. And yeah, and did you move to LA for a minute?
Yeah, I was out there for about a year and a half almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think, because I feel like when I met you,
we met when I was going back and forth. So
Okay.
I was coming here, sometimes on the weekend, sometimes 4 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week, and I would do like kind of offset. So I'd do 3 days here, 4 days there, 4 days there, three,
yeah.
back and forth. So.
And are you trying to move out there?
No,
still,
I'm
or
back.
you-
I'm back here. I
You're
did the
good.
LA thing for like a year, and then you go. It doesn't matter. You can blow up from Scranton.
Dude,
You
that's
just gotta grind it out.
fucking-
Are we alled to cuss?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
for sure.
Dude, you've seen my act.
Yeah, I just making sure. I don't want to be that guy that's like,
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean, I've talked to you a little bit about it. Like, dude, the 2 weeks ago when I was here and I'm hanging out with you and Trix. And,
Yeah.
And
And Trix is
everybody
moving out here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, as I'm like just driving to like Gayu and all these different restaurants and
Yeah.
shit, I'm just kind of like,
And the cost of Korean barbecue here is a third of what it would be in Los Angeles.
dude. And I
Yeah.
was just like, I think I fucking am kind of liking it out here, man.
And the cost of living's amazing, man. Like before I moved to LA, my half of a 1-bedroom apartment in LA was $1,100, right? Half of a
Yeah.
1-bedroom apartment. Here, I had a whole house with a backyard that I could grill and do a bunch of shit. 2-car garage, 2 stories, 4 bedrooms in a nice suburban area of town for $1,300 a month.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I did the LA thing for about a year, and I was like, you know what? I got a great gig here. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I got the best job on earth, and I live in the most underrated city on the planet.
And talking to, because I think I've talked to you about it. I've talked to a bunch of comics about it. I pretty much get input from everybody about when I make the decision of where I'm going to light again. I've been trying to go a year without paying rent.
Smart.
Yeah, and it's between Boston here and L.A. And
I've never been to Boston.
You've never been?
Never.
Okay, so why don't we plan? I'm telling you now. My buddy Casey, I think, is going to come out from. He's the manager of Stand Up Live, Tempe Improv, CB Live. But I'm all of March. I'm in Boston or Massachusetts.
Sweet.
Including leading up to St. Patty's Day. I'm at the Woo Ha Ha and the weekend after. So we should plan. You come out.
Yeah, let's try to find something.
Come out. You could come out that weekend, crash with me at the condo, or come out the day before St. Patty's, but experience St. Patty's Day
in
with
Boston
me
would be
in
great.
Boston.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I would actually love that.
Yeah.
I did St. Patrick's Day in Ireland a few years back.
Shit.
And nothing has been as interesting. And me and my girl were talking about this. We're like, we kind of ruined it because unless you're around authentic Irish people or in a city that is like that, like a Boston, it's lame.
Now, when you did that, because my old roommate Ray Breen is he lived in the States for about 5 years, and he's from Ireland. He's back in Ireland. He lives in Swords, Ireland, but he was telling me it's St. Patty's Day there. It's more of like a religious holiday.
Yeah, I mean, we were in Dublin,
I bet that was
which
like
was
partying.
Yeah. We kind of like when we landed. Not to. I don't know what the topic is, but we're kind of getting in it. So we landed. We lost our luggage. We were fucking in a bunch of like.
What was that whole topic thing? What are you saying?
Well, I'm about to tell a story about Dublin, Ireland. I don't know where the conversation was supposed to go.
It goes wherever you want it, bro.
Perfect.
It's about you.
All right, cool. Yeah. So, we land in Dublin. They lose our luggage. Aer Lingus loses our luggage. So we really just had like the clothes that we flew on. And then one other outfit. It's snowing. I mean, like snowing, freezing cold. we were trying to catch the parade in Dublin, but it was so cold that it was like there was no way we were going to get pneumonia standing outside. So we were just pub crawling, from spot to spot, taking a couple shots, warming up, run out, kind of see what we can see, run back into the pubs. But we end up going to like the Guinness Museum, Guinness Factory, whatever it's called, and the whole parade ends there. Hold on one second, just.
Right. Oh, you can go.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Do
Sorry.
what you got to do. We're filming. It's cool. I mean, this is for network
if
TV,
you guys,
but
if
it's
you guys
cool.
cut through, this is Micah
go
and
through.
EJ.
It's
You
already
guys are
filming.
Yeah, you're good.
It doesn't matter.
You're good.
People listening are like, wait, where the fuck did you guys go?
Yeah, they brought me food. That was
you guys
nice
are
of
on
them.
camera now. I hope you're not on America's Most Wanted or anything.
If you guys want to sit in these two chairs over here, that might be a little bit
Where'd you
easier.
guys go? I mean, where though? You're right in the camera. Look. Yeah. Front yard?
Ellis Island.
What's that? I don't
Ellis
know.
Island Casino.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh man, I'll put you on this week, bro.
All right. Okay, so you're going.
So we end up in the
pub.
Guinness factory. And the parade ends there. So we're like there drinking, and the whole parade just comes to us. And you're on this giant building.
Oh yeah.
That's higher than Dublin, and you can see the whole city. And you look down, and the whole parade is just all the orchestra. Everything's down in the bottom. It was an incredible experience.
Is that the only time you've been to Ireland?
We were there for 14 days. That was day one.
Fuck. But have you ever been there before or
No.
after? Okay.
I want to go back, dude, but I don't know. This might offend you. The food is so bad,
it's shit.
dude.
Yeah, Irish. It's bland. It's just
Food's so bad.
everything's boiled.
And dude, I have a motto. And EJ, the Asian guy you just saw in the nice coat, he knows this motto, and it's literally all over my Instagram. Some people come to eat, and some people come to compete, man. So I fucking love food, dog. So
you said that when we did the Korean thing.
yeah. So for me, Ireland was rough, but I loved like this. Have you been?
Yeah.
Dude, the countryside, the scenery, the people, and the local beers in every city are incredible.
Dude, so I'll tell you a couple things on my Ireland experience. So I went 2 days to London, and then I spent I think 7 or 8, maybe 9 in Ireland. And what was great is my old roommate Ray, one of my oldest, dearest friends, who lived in Swords. I stayed with him, but what he did is he basically set up like an event every day that we were gonna do.
Yeah.
So, and he's so fucking smart. Like, he had all this history on everything.
Yeah.
So I think like one of the first things we did is we went to Kylemore Castle. Have you been there? Or
what
you would
city?
know. It's called Kylemore.
I don't think so.
It looks like you're looking at the set of Excalibur.
Okay.
This fucking huge castle. There's like water in front of it, and then way up behind the castle, up in the mountains, is a statue of Jesus.
Oh, okay. We didn't do that.
So he told us the history of that, and then he took us to this tomb that's like older than the pyramids.
God.
Took us to Dublin Castle, where he knew all the history before, and like all these little subtle things. Like he was when we're in the. Did you go to Dublin Castle?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know like what's it called, the middle part that's like open. It doesn't He points up to Lady Justice or whatever, and he's like, "Do you notice anything interesting?" We're like, No, I don't. It's a statue of Lady Justice, you know.
Right.
And he goes, she's facing in. Usually it's facing out because it's for the people, but this was facing in because of England, and it was for England.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. He had like
That
all
was
these,
okay. So Ireland was my first international experience, right? And I was kind of closed-minded to international travel, not for any of the reason that I just never done it. But when you're in places like that, like I can't remember. I think it was in Kilkenny or Killarney, one of those two little small cities. We're in a cathedral that was used as like a setup spot during the Crusades.
oh shit.
And you go to the top of this like lighthouse. It takes you like 20 minutes to climb these ladders all the way to the top. I mean, it's really, really high up. And you get up there and you're looking out, and it's something to the tune of like 200,000 burials just on that cathedral grounds. And you start sitting there, you just realize like how insignificant's the wrong word, but just like it's like I'm just like a speck. You know?
Dude, I just saw.
We're kind of like privileged here, where it's
yeah.
in America, it's like the whole world revolves around me, and you go, these are the places that have this reverence for history,
dude,
and you go like, oh wow, I'm nothing.
So
I am nothing.
Two things I'll say on that. One, well, part of that trip. So Ray planned everything out, and the last day that we were there, he planned. So my grandfather came over from Ireland. He was an immigrant, James Mulgannon, and he like 40-ish years ago, my mom went to Ireland and went to his family's old homestead.
Wow.
Which is in County Clare, Mount Shannon. So I tell my mom, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Ireland. Where is the family's old homestead? Like, is there a fucking address or something, right? And she goes, 40 years ago, we went to a pub in County Clare and we asked the bartender, where's the Mulgannon's homestead? And he directed us.
Wow.
And I was thinking, what the fuck's that going to do for me? But fucking Ray takes us to a pub in County Clare, asks the bartender, where does the Mulgannon family's homestead at? And the guy's accent was he spoke English, but his Irish accent was so thick, I thought he was speaking Gaelic. And I'm like looking at Ray like, what's he saying? And Ray's like, he's speaking English. You know, I was like, yikes. And then I just remember they're talking, and then this other old guy comes into the bar, and the bartender points at me talking to the old guy, and he goes like this. He goes, this man, he's a Mulgannon. He's looking for his family's homestead. Oh, wow. And I was like, fucking boner. So he tells us, like, go a mile up the road. There's a really nice house. And then he gave us the number to the guy that, so we call this guy. He's like, my sister's house is the nice one. There's a dirt road next to it. Walk up. So we walk up a mile on this dirt road. And I was just about to be like, I don't know where it's at. I think we're stuck. And my buddy was like, just keep going. Go around this corner. We find this fucking, it looked like a hut. And like walls and everything are missing and stuff and barely standing. And I took a rock from it and brought it back from Ireland.
That's dope.
But I was just like, this is because nobody's been in it since like 1890s,
sure.
You know? So that was like feeling like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then also speaking on that, in Dublin, did you see the statues, the bronze statues where they're emaciated?
No.
So this artist made these emaciated, like real thin statues that represent the potato famine, the famine, right? And he put what's the metal that turns green? Is it copper?
Yeah.
So he made the lips copper on these bronze statues, and because they turn green, because all these people during the famine were eating grass, so you'd see all these dead bodies with green lips.
Oh shit!
And so that was fucking crazy. And you get me talking about Ireland, I fucking won't shut up.
It was one of the most like magical, such a corny word, but it really truly was like this. It was such an experience, man. There's few places that I've been to that I'm like, that I really genuinely like.
Oh yeah,
can't wait to go back to.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I want to go back. I performed there too in a thing called the Happy Inn. But there's a documentary I just saw recently. Fucking blows me away. I know there's have you ever heard of Bobby Collins?
Yeah.
Not the comedian.
Oh, okay. No.
Or not Bobby Collins, Bobby Sands. Jesus Christ. Fucking
like,
anybody watching this that's Irish is like, you piece of shit. Bobby Sands was a IRA member that, there's a documentary about this called, I think it might just be called, oh no, it's called 66 Days. Okay. And it's fucking, the thing that blows me away. So Bobby Sands was an IRA member. Him and some other IRA members got caught. I think this was in like the 70s. So they got caught. They're cool. They're like, okay, cool. We're in jail. England has them in jail, and they're like, we're fine with you having us in jail, but we want to be considered political prisoners because we feel like you're in our land, you shouldn't be there. So we feel we're political prisoners, we're freedom fighters, and they're like, no, you're terrorists. So Queen Elizabeth was like, or Margaret Thatcher was like, nah, we're not going to do that. So Bobby Sands was like, and I think he was like 26 at the time, which that's what blows me away. He was like, well, we're going to go on a hunger strike. And that's what he did, is he went on a 66-day hunger strike and died and became a martyr and a hero. And
that kind of fucks with my motto, eat or compete, bro. I can't.
yeah. He's competing by not eating.
Wow. Ooh, a little yikes. That guy's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's a fucking crazy, really good documentary, 66 Days. We did go off on Ireland, but I'm always down for that.
Yeah.
So now, the hip hop, you're back here. Yeah. You're saying you have a good thing here, and you can blow up from anywhere. We're talking about that, and then I was saying like I'm thinking about moving here.
Yes.
Now with the music, what's been your biggest, I guess, blow up or break so far in music? Up to this point,
like locally, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of curating a nice little following out here. We've done shows, we started out obviously like everybody else doing open mics, and then we were at a point here not too long before I moved. I haven't done a local show here in a while, but we were selling out like the Hard Rock Casino, over there, like at Vinyl, like 750 I think is what it seats. So I mean, we've done a nice job of cultivating a nice sort of local scene. I'm really bad at putting out consistent content. Which I feel like is the downfall of everybody who's never made it. Like they go, I just can't put out the content, which is such a lie and a cop-out. So, like, moving back, part of that was, like, I kind of went to L.A. thinking that, like everybody does, I go to L.A. and that solves all my problems. I'm going to be right in the crux of where the entertainment business is, and I'll be cool. And you get there and go, oh.
It's just the same shit, but in L.A.
I'm still the problem, So let me come back here where I'm spending a third of the overhead and put all my time into recording, all my extra money into putting a budget together to push stuff. So, I mean, I'm at a point now where, like, I've got quite a catalog of music kind of compiled, trying to finish a few music videos, get a few things done so that I can make a push in, like, the spring. Start to, like, pick a single, push the single, use some of the contacts I made in L.A. and try to, like, leverage that a little bit. But you know how it goes, man. I mean, my biggest concern is, like, let me get more content that I can consistently churn out on social media.
Do you know who Bavu Blakes is?
I don't think so.
Rapper Bavu Blakes. In 2008 he had a thing called Great in '08, and for every week he would release him. It was actually kind of cool because he didn't waste any beats. He took like the instrumentals of whatever popular song,
right,
and just fucking rapped over it and released it once a week. And I was like, I mean, I did a joke a week thing in 2013, and the thing you're saying about content is that's one thing that Kev and Tony Baker always preaches is like you just got to be consistent.
I mean, and that's the hardest part, right? Is I look at like Tony, right? You knew Kev. I didn't really know Kev until I don't know him personally, but I didn't hear his name until he started working with Tony. Tony had worked here at this club, and I was a fan of the content he was putting out long before he blew up. And the thing with Tony that I look back at now is I go, this is a guy who was committed to the long game. Because he was putting out great content long before it ever got the recognition that it should have gotten. And I am such an instant gratification individual, bro. Yeah. It's like so hard for me to like put my heart into something, put it out, and not have it get the response I feel like it deserves. And so like I'm always like massively impressed at the humility that's required to just put out content on a regular basis, even though you know it deserves so much more than what it's getting. and that's paid them dividends, man. I mean, they're really fucking crushing it.
Yeah, Kev put out he did a video one time that all the video was, I forget what he titled it, but it was something like, just to let you know what goes into these videos. And it was him like 15 takes of him starting this thing and him just going, yeah. And he just showed all of the ones it took to make the one video.
And the editing, and then you got to put it out, and like, it's
it's
a labor
also,
of love, man.
It's also finding that thing, like Tony's thing with the animal voices. It's so great. You know, he's got that thing. And I was telling you, like, when we went on tour with Kev, like, some people would come up there like, I didn't even know you did stand up, and I'm
Right.
like, Tony's a fucking amazing comic,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's great, and it's
Top tier.
people just, I mean, but however you get the fans, you know, it's I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure.
great.
I'm sure he's not complaining about any of that.
No.
He's got The Rock commenting on his shit,
Dude,
Ti and shit. It's like this
it's
is nuts.
fucking nuts.
I texted him the other day because he had Lupe Fiasco comment on something, and Lupe Fiasco's like, that guy's like a real life monk. Like it's
Yeah.
like in the hip hop world, it's like Lupe Fiasco just disappears for seasons of time and then reemerges. And so when I saw Lupe comment on his shit, I took a screenshot and sent to him. I was like, dude, you got Lupe
Yeah.
coming out of his cave to comment. That's like, dude,
That's so
it makes
great.
me. It's cool to see good comics.
Yeah.
Like not just good people, but good comics as well, getting their roses.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
know?
And the back end of that, which I know you know, is like they're great comics and they're amazing people. Like just
Sure.
so that's what I tell people all the time when like people are like, oh, how's Kev and what's Kev like and this and that, and I'm like, it's funny because you know sometimes there can be jealousy and hate and
Yeah.
you know, like, man, fuck that guy, man, why is he over there? With Kev, I don't know anybody that has that for Kev because he's just or Tony, I mean, or Tahir, like they're all just genuinely great dudes, you know.
Yeah. Well, they're grinders too. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been putting in time. It's weird too. Like, if people ask me about certain comics that are actually good people, you know how the old adage is,
Oh, yeah.
where you go, how is that guy? And you go, oh, he's a nice guy. That's like this like code for he's not very funny.
Yeah.
So I always feel bad when there is somebody who's like genuinely a great comic, but is also this quality human.
Yeah.
And my first instinct is to brag on how great of a person they are, because people automatically probably think I'm like, that's like the code for. I don't think they're that great of a
Yeah.
comic. And I always see it on their face, and they kind of snicker, and I got to circle around and go, no, but they're really genuinely a great.
And then,
comic
but it's
too.
too late now.
Yeah,
because they're like, no, I get
you're
it.
trying
It's
to
cool.
save face because you manage a comedy club, and I'm like, nah, dude, trust me, I don't need to save face. Yeah, I don't need to save face.
Now, when you were mentioning you were doing the open mic scene here
Yeah.
as a rapper. Fuck, it sounds so weird to me. Like as a rapper, like I feel like it's what a lyricist. Fuck, I don't know. Anyways, you're doing the
artist, either one. The rapper's fine.
okay. So you're doing open mics as a rapper. Are these like anything goes open mics? Like so they have stand up, they have music. They have,
No, it was all rap.
Okay.
I have some funny stories of like when we first started, like having you know how it goes when you're doing open mics. You're just getting more. You want to bring any warm body that's willing to support. So, dude, it was like I had stuff from like close friends, people that I worked with, to like people my parents' age who were like my mentors and like out there. And you've got like, I don't know, if you listen to my music, I genuinely feel like, and I've had people tell me it's top tier, like just from production to lyricism to across the board, it's really good. And I felt like it was always in a pocket that was kind of above what would be at an open mic, but that's easy for me to say. But
No,
it was always funny to like have these people who who are like, you know, my parents' age that are in there, and you've got these open mic rappers going, you know, fuck everybody, I got weed, and they're like doing this really terrible like open mic rap.
That's interesting,
And
dude.
you're going, just stay, please just stay. I'm on in like
Yeah,
10 minutes.
yeah.
Please just stay.
Like, do I have to follow the guy that
But I think
says
that
fuck
actually
bitches, get money?
it actually kind of worked to our advantage. Like we kind of went from again open mics to selling out a casino in a year, and I think that was part of what worked to our advantage was because we had built. And I say we, EJ, the guy who was just in here, we had built these good relationships with people, so they were willing to stay through those terrible open mics. So by the time we got on stage, there was a moment for us to really grab them and go, "Oh shit, this is
Another level. This is
on-
something different.
This is above what all these peers are doing, all their peers are doing." I think it allowed us to really leverage that early on. So I mean, I was very grateful for it. You know, for all those people who sat there at, you know, in hip hop shows, they go, you know, show starts at 9 and the show starts at 11.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And people have work at 7 in the morning, and I'm not going until 1, and I was supposed to go on at 11. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for all these people over the years who've you know showed support out here and come to every show and pay for tickets and do all this other, you know, crazy shit that I always hate asking them to do.
Oh yeah. Now you mentioned EJ.
Yeah.
Oh no. So are you guys a duo or is it a group?
Dude,
or
we
what?
just have always kind of been, I guess, the battery in each other's back. Like he kind of came into, he started working here as a sound tech, And we just kind of were like, yo, what up, for like 2 months. And then Andre, our full-time sound tech, who
fucking Dre.
Yeah, Andre, man. He actually kind of put us together and was like, yo, you do music, Ed does music. And then from there we just kind of clicked, and it was like, yo, like he came from Syracuse. He came in like the, where hip hop originated, which is New York City. So, it was cool. Like,
You're
it was
both
just,
EJs?
Yeah, dude. So we both moved to LA, right? And it was funny when we were looking for apartments. Tall white guy named Ed, short Asian Filipino guy named Edwin. So Ed and Ed. And we got it like 3 different times when we were filling out applications. People were like, "You guys are like the funnest, like most unique looking gay couple on the planet." I'm like, "We're not gay. We're not gay."
Dude, I got the name for you guys.
Here we go.
I'm sure. Yeah, exactly.
Here
It's
we go.
E equals MCs squared.
God.
Come on.
Dear God.
Come on.
Don't open with that.
Come on. It's fucking perfect. MCs, E's equal MCs squared.
Literally, both of our initials are EJ as well.
That's crazy.
He's Edwin Jesus. I'm Ed James.
Dude, I'm calling this, that's what this episode's going to be called, E equals MC
So yeah,
squared.
it was me and him and a couple other
You
buddies.
just fucking, I love you just bulldozed through that.
It's
You're
me
like,
and-
yeah, that's cool, great. Anyway, so.
It was me, him, and a couple of buddies who really all kind of started at the same time. And we just kind of all just meshed perfectly, all made completely separate styles of music, styles of hip-hop, like as a subgenre. So it just, I'm grateful, man.
And EJ raps or he does the music?
Yeah,
Or
he
does
raps.
both?
He's,
Okay.
he's a beast. He's like an MC.
So
like
do you guys have a name for the overall crew or?
for a little while we were going by like there was like a moniker like Royalty Regime. That was early years. Now we just kind of just show up and play shows.
I gotcha.
There's Eddie J, International Mac, our boy Party Hari. There's just a bunch of us that just do music.
Now, when you mentioned the open mic, I'm curious. It always interests me, like different forms of art, right? So, like when I do an open mic, I've said this before on the podcast. So, I think of a premise, right? And in my head, I'm like, I get an idea, and I'll be like, oh fuck, that's funny, right? So, where I'm at and how I feel, I'm like, if I think it's funny, it's funny. It's decided right there in my head. It's funny. So when I go to an open mic and it's mainly open mic comics, I don't need them to confirm if it's funny. I already know it's funny.
Yeah.
I just need to get the beats down and the rhythm and see, do people laugh at something I didn't think of?
Yeah.
So when you're rapping in a room and there's fucking either nobody there or it's very scarce and you're not getting any kind of, maybe you're not getting a reaction because it is scarce, are you in your head still like, I don't give a fuck, I know this shit is dope?
Yeah, trust me, there's been times like after we kind of curated that movement, right, and we did all these shows that got bigger and bigger and bigger. You know how it is. You go on the road, you do some shows that are big, you do some shows that are small. Even in Vegas, I've done some shows that are like, well, this is an underwhelming turnout. But, yeah, once you know, I fucking kick ass, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've done this shit. I do this shit. If y'all aren't going to get on board with it, that's your loss. And sometimes, bro, I don't know. I don't really get pissy with people, but I do kind of go like, you guys came here.
Yeah.
Like, you paid to be here.
Yeah.
You know?
What's your worst bomb?
Dude, I had food poisoning, and I did a show for these friends of mine. I say friends loosely, musical acquaintances, and they really hyped it up like this, like it was going to be this crazy big like album release show. I brought 80% of the people that were there, and so I'm performing to people who've seen me already many times. And it was just a lame audience, just really, really, really lame. Where are all the beautiful women at? Nobody shouts. And you're like, what drunk women don't want to just go, I'm bad,
Yeah.
I'm hot. Like, so it was just one of those nights.
Where the ugly bitches at?
Yeah. So I kind of, I go, where the pretty ladies at? Because I had a song I was going to do called Pretty Lady. You get like nobody's response. I go, yo, where the pretty ladies at? And then one person at the drunk lady at the bar, ooh. And I go, yeah, 2 women in the back. Let's just fucking run this shit. But dude, I had food
And
poisoning.
you're
I was
sick,
like,
yeah.
I was like, I had the like I'm throwing up in the back and shit. And I got these guys in my ear in the back with the 9 people they brought in the front of the room going, we're just gonna be the next big thing. We're gonna blow up. We're gonna be. And I'm just like, dude, you fucking finish your song. I don't know, man. Hip hop's weird. There's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of social awareness disconnect in the hip hop industry.
Yeah.
I see a lot of like performances that I go, there's a massive disconnect. Like, why are you spraying champagne on people who aren't here to see you specifically? Like, you get like 9 artists on a lineup.
Fucking
and one
Gallagher of rap.
Yeah, one guy will just come out on stage and just spray water on people, and you're like, those people don't know you, and you're just throwing water on them.
Like, hey, this is silk, motherfucker.
It's just like, I don't know. You don't see that in any other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Have you worked with anybody that you're like your proudest moment, so to speak?
So, Joe Budden, right before he blew up and became like the podcast goat that he is right now, his final tour, he came through Vegas and we opened for him. And I posted about it on Facebook like a year later. We were on that run where we were just like every show was like selling out and we were just trending like this. And so we opened for Joe. And after that fucking show, I got writer's block. I couldn't write a song for like 6 months. We couldn't get a show for like 4 months. Like everything just halted. And this dude goes from like his farewell tour to like blows up and like, and so I posted on Facebook. I was like, if I ever blow up and go on his podcast, I'm snuffing him like right off the rip. Yeah. Like, you shook my hand and you stole our energy. I fucking know how that shit happened. So that was like that was a fun spot because you're like around. What I liked about it was like Joe Budden's like hip hop. Like that's not like there's no fluff in that. He's an MC. So that was a hard room. Like look at this white boy coming out here with dancers and a band, and you gotta. Is he gimmicky?
Yeah.
You gotta really win him over.
Yeah, that's
because they want to hear real bars.
So that's got to be interesting. Like we've talked about it. Like I do a lot of black rooms.
Sure.
And there's that you go out and it's probably the same idea. Like, man, fuck this cracker white. What's this white boy you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've embraced it though, man. It was one of those things that I'm one of those people who's motivated by a chip on my shoulder. If people love me, I flounder. I need some type of hate. Yeah. I need some type, and that's not a good, healthy character trait. It doesn't really help with mental stability. But like in terms of as an artist, I feel like I shine more when my back's against the ropes. Yeah. So I've always kind of embraced that, and I've never been resentful of it. It's one of those things that I get it. Like there's a lot of opportunistic white people who get into hip hop, and the business is run by a lot of white executives. So I get it. So I put up or shut up. Let me come out and prove that I'm worth my weight and that I deserve to be on the stage with whoever else is here.
How do you feel about somebody coming into your lane, so to speak, that it is a gimmick? Like as an example, as a comic, when somebody asks me are you an actor, and I always say like, I've done some things where I'm acting.
But I'm a comic.
Yeah, and I don't feel... I feel it's almost disrespectful to the art of acting because it's definitely a talent. And so the same thing, like if somebody that's like a fucking porn star is, I'm a comic now, and I'm like, no, you're not. Right. So what's your thoughts on like somebody that comes over and... Oh,
it's always... Yeah, I bitch, pout, and complain about it all the time to my girlfriend and my friends, and they probably get sick and tired of hearing me do it ad nauseum. It's... Because my thing is this, dude, like and this is probably arrogant and brash as fuck. I'm the type of guy that I'm like, put me on after Drake, I'm going to win the crowd over. I'll fucking win you over. Like, put me on anywhere. If you put me on before so-and-so, they're not going to be able to follow me. So when I see like people like the Catch Me Outside girl who gets this giant record deal and has a hit single, and you're like, what the fuck? But I also don't get mad at it because I'm like, at the end of the day, that's not her fault. She's capitalizing on a moment that she created as well. So I get more frustrated. I think I see a lot of peers get mad at the artist, quote unquote, instead of mad at the business. And the business is about making money, so they find people they can make money. I can't get mad at people who have a moment. And what is gimmicky? I think it's like, I don't know. I talk to a lot of comics, and they go, well, that's a hack. He's a hack or she's a hack. And I go, but I book based on who laughs.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. I have my personal preference on what I think is funny. But in terms from the business end of things, maybe a comic, maybe the overlying comic community can look at a comic and go, oh, they're a hack, they're gimmicky. But they get laughs and damn near a standing ovation every night.
Dude, and I've always, like, my whole thing with what people say is hack and this and that, my opinion has always been, as long as you're not stealing material, I'm like, go for whatever you want to do.
And so, okay, so to that point, my big thing is this. If you're considered gimmicky, word, I can't hold that over your head. I just want to see, if I do, like, go to a show or see you live, just be 120%. Like, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that you deserve to be up there.
Dude, Joe Rogan, I always mention this. Like, he brought up such a great point. He said people always shit on Carrot Top. They're like, oh, fucking Carrot Top, he's a prop comic, blah, blah, blah. And Rogan goes, yeah, but here's the thing is, if you say prop comedy or you think of prop comedy, you think of one fucking guy.
Yeah, man.
That guy, like, owns that fucking, you know?
Yep.
And, I mean, and, dude, it's like everything is fucking hacked because everything has been done. Like,
sure, there's no new ideas, bro.
Like, I do a joke about online dating. Some people say, oh, online dating is hacked, but a couple things. I'm like, one, it's a true story that happened to me. Two, how many comics have jokes about being married? Right. I'm not married. I can't do marriage jokes. I don't have a wife. I can't be like, my fucking wife, or I'm the dumb husband. I don't, you know. So it's like,
to me as well. It's like, what do we? Who's setting the bar?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't get mad at people for having their moment. If you found a way to get your moment, if you're still here a year and a half later after your moment happened, you fucking earned that spot.
Yeah.
So,
and the other the other side of that coin too is it's like, if anybody is bitching at those people, if the opportunity was offered to you,
of course,
would you be like, man, I don't know, I don't think I'm, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna I will capitalize on whatever opportunity comes down the pipeline.
Yeah. Now, who are some artists that you really like, respect, and enjoy?
Well, Kanye was like.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
We were talking about it earlier tonight. Kanye was my favorite artist.
Right.
I say was, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I'm not crazy about current Kanye. But Kanye that I look
classic
up to.
Kanye.
Yeah. I think that Drake made it cool for a guy like me to rap and be good at it and be really freaking fucking on point. So I've always been inspired by him. Lupe Fiasco was one of the first artists I listened to, and I just love the way he told stories and like really made you think. There's a lot, man. Outside of the genre,
like Lil Brother?
Hip-hop. Say again.
Lil Brother?
Yeah.
Fonte Tigolo?
I don't know about that.
That's who's in Little Brother. Fonte Tigolo and the rapper Big Pooh. People like a lot of people say.
I just know
Lil Brother.
Lil Brother. I don't know who's.
So
in
Fonte. A lot of people say there would be no Drake without Fonte. Some people say, you know, but I'm not in that fucking.
Trix always says he's a light-skinned Jamiroquai.
That's good.
But outside of the genre, I mean, oddly enough, I was kind of raised on like my dad was a rock and roll DJ.
Oh.
And so I was raised on a lot of rock, like classic rock. And then my mom was a Polynesian dancer.
Wow.
And my grandma on her side, her mom was a jazz musician. So a lot of jazz.
It's in your blood.
A lot of jazz and rock is what I kind of grew up on. So, and you kind of get blues in the middle of that. So, yeah, there was a lot of that. Hip-hop kind of came actually late. Like, I started listening to hip-hop strictly because, like, there was a period in life where just everything was fucked. And so there was just a lot of, like, very outward and honest middle finger, this is what I'm going through, pain that you hear in hip-hop that I just related to at that season of my life, and that kind of allowed me the avenue to say what I felt. I grew up in a very, like, religious, structured household, so hip-hop was kind of, I guess, the artistic way to rebel.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, what the first... Is there a song or an album that you're like, oh, this was my first, like, oh, this is hip-hop, or that you remember?
The first one that really spoke to me was Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, and then right after that, I went down the rabbit trail, and Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor 2 specifically spoke to me. But and from there, Lupe's that rabbit hole kind of got me into the Kanye thing. I was kind of late to the Kanye game, like because again, I grew up in a structured household, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of Mercy Me and Third Day in our house. Yeah. So once I kind of went down that train, and then there was like evangelical artists, hip hop artists like Lecrae or Andy Mineo, who were the first time I'd ever heard DC Talk. Yeah. So for example, right, like you grow up on like DC Talk and Cross Movement, which were like, or Ambassador, which like the most hip hop I had heard as growing up in a Christian household was Ambassador going, "We worship you, we." So like you grow up in that, and then you hear a guy like Lecrae come along, who's like, this guy, he can actually spit, like, and he's got music that you put it right up next to anybody in contemporary hip hop, and you kind of don't know the difference if you didn't hear him outwardly confessing his beliefs. So that, to me, really spoke to me. And then Andy Mineo was white and was from New York, and my dad was from New Jersey, so I kind of had this like desire to where I always wished I was from like the tri-state area. And so guys like that kind of paved the way for me, I guess, to like really feel like. And then all of a sudden you get, this light-skinned dude from Toronto who comes in and starts singing, and he's from the burbs, and you go, but he can actually rap. And that was where I was like, oh, this guy's talking about shit that I relate to, and he's doing he's singing to women and rapping, and that's the waviest shit ever, dude. So like I was like, I can do this shit,
dude. I remember I was dating this girl, this beautiful girl, light-skinned girl, blue eyes, she's so fine. And I remember she hit me. It's the first time I heard Drake was from her. And she put on that first song of his that blew up where he's all fucking whining, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And she like loved that shit.
That always stuck out to me too. It was like, for me, again, the hip hop that opened the door for me to become immersed in it, where I was hearing my pain through the lyrics that were being spoken, which then allowed me to pen. And I was writing, terrible. I mean, I was not good, but it was an outlet. Drake was the first time that I ever heard somebody not doing that and having people on both ends of the spectrum, like lyricists and just beautiful women. Yeah. Like everybody was just like, yo. Yeah. So that to me was like, okay, cool. There's a balance here. I can find it. But no, hip hop to me, man, that was the outlet that I think really kept me from cratering in a dark season of my life. So, I've always felt responsible to the art form. I never got mad at the idea of like, you're a white guy and a black guy supporting like this thing of like, oh, well, you don't understand. It's like, no, I do. I've never lived through that aspect of the struggle, but I fully respect it and go, this art form added value to my life. It's my duty to add value to the art form.
Yeah.
And never be gimmicky.
Yeah.
I would, you know what I mean? Like really, truly consciously be aware of like, when the platform does come, where I have the platform to speak to a larger audience, to be able to utilize that platform to say, I know that I will add value to this platform and give back to it, rather than just take from it and capitalize on it.
Well, I'm curious what your thoughts are on, because I think this guy but he's like comical, so I don't think he gets enough credit. But I think he's fucking amazing.
Say Lil Dicky?
Yes.
So
I was in one of his music videos too.
Really? Which one?
Let Me Freak.
Oh, shit.
At the beginning, I'm the bouncer.
Dope. That's dope. He's a really creative dude, man. There's some people that don't like him because they think he's gimmicky. When you stick around longer than 2 years, though, you're doing something right. And I just respected, like, when you do see him on freestyles, he's rapping his ass off.
Dude, he's fucking...
Not all of his music is for me. I like a little bit more substance. I do think he's a little bit more on the comedy side of things.
Right.
But I wouldn't want to go bar for bar with him on a freestyle. He can actually rap. He's a good-ass rapper. Yeah. So, and he's talented and he's creative as fuck, and I think that it's important. The most important thing as an artist is knowing who you are, knowing yourself. And he knows himself.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. So fucking crazy. Because I remember, him blowing up and like, I knew him when he was way underground. Like, I remember his his mixtape, his Lil Dicky mixtape that was on his website for free that I think was fucking awesome. God, I can't even remember the name of it now, but and then he came out with his other album. I was like, Jesus, he's fucking blowing up. Then I got to do the fucking music video with him. We filmed it right by across the street from the Ha Ha Cafe, and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he went all in on who he is.
Yeah,
and I think that
he's got a great team too.
He does have a great team, and he's a likable dude. So it's one of those things too that I think that helps. And again, if people think you're gimmicky, the best thing you can do is just embrace it.
Lean into it, yeah.
Yeah, then you take the power out of it.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's funny when you're talking about like stuff you grew up on or like that. I'm just thinking back, like for me, it was fucking Rakim.
Yeah,
and this is how fucking old I am. And I think there was I think like the first album I ever bought, I think they were called like the Three Witch Doctors or it was some fucking weird thing that obviously didn't blow up. I remember DJ Cash Money and Marvelous were battling Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and I remember my buddy Solomon, who's now in have you ever heard of the group Lifesavers? Out of Portland, but Solomon David, who I went to high school with, but I remember him fucking playing me all the DJ scratching competitions and shit, and it's so fucking crazy.
So, one of the same rooms that hosts a lot of these open mics out here was the same room. I had tickets to see Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh, shit.
And they were at that same place that hosts. Like, it's weird to me, like, the mind fuck that is, like, you got these guys who pioneered the genre.
Dude.
And they're sharing the same microphone as open micers. Not on the same night, but you go, this is where they host open mics. It's just weird, the trajectory of the business, how you go from here to here, but you still end up, 80% still ends up right back where they started. So it's just the way the game goes.
Dude.
It's really weird. And one of my biggest frustrations was I was just sick and I didn't go that night. I gave them to somebody else. Yeah, I know. But it was a mind fuck to me a couple years later when I started doing performances, and I was like, this is the same place that Eric B. and Rakim show was at.
Somebody told me, or I read something the other day about Rakim that I never thought of or never knew, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, holy fuck, I think that's right. Supposedly, he never cursed, ever.
I'd have to go back and listen.
And I started thinking about it. I was like, fuck, I don't think he did.
I mean, that was kind of a different era, man. I mean, they were weaving words in a different way. I mean, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I just remember how fucking dope he was, though. Excuse me. So what's your... what would you say your short-term goals are over the next 6 months?
To fucking put out the content. That's goal number one. I have a vlog series, a journal series. So we're trying to take these journal entries that I write and turn them into visual ideas. The first episode we put up on my Instagram page.
Which is at Eddie J?
Eddie J Music, yeah. EDDIEJAYY. Music. Don't ask me why there's two Y's. I don't know. So there's that, and then I do want to launch a podcast as well. Me and EJ have talked about it for years, and EJ's always on my head about it, and is like, why don't you do a podcast?
E equals 2 MCs.
E equals MC squared. Yeah, great.
I just love how much you hate it.
And then obviously to pick the single and put the budget behind it and just put it out in the universe and see what happens. But after that, once we get that single launched, I mean, my goal is to put out a song a month with a video a month, through at least November.
Fuck
just to see what happens. My friends who do music with me always get on my ass about being a completionist, because I'm kind of that guy that's like, I'm gonna just keep nitpicking at it until it's perfect, and it's never gonna be perfect. Yeah.
My old martial arts instructor used to say, a perfectionist is somebody that's setting himself up for failure.
And that is the truest shit ever, dude, because it's one of those things that it's never going to live up to the idea you have in your mind. One of the biggest things for me in the last year has been learning to just surrender the outcome. And we were kind of talking, I don't know if you were on stage the other night or maybe you were in here, and we were talking about one of the bigger things that I'm trying to challenge myself towards with music and just in life is to stop worrying about what I can control and focus on what I can affect. And so like one is controlling is the idea of I have to direct everything and I have to make it all work the way that I see it working, and I can't, versus the understanding of like that perfectionist mindset of no matter how much you control it, you can't control where it's going to land.
That's hit me. Hold on. I'm taking that in because that's actually speaking to me about like putting out content. Like the control thing. Like you're like, okay, and you talked about it kind of earlier. Like you spend time on something and you're like, okay, man, this shit's going to go viral and nothing happens.
Yeah, you become
so I have no control over that.
It that you are a victim of your own expectation, and then it doesn't ever hit. Versus the understanding of like, I can't control how the world's going to consume my art. All I can do is
put it out there,
is affect the fact that I put it out and that I put my heart into it, and that I'm giving you the best of me every time. And so it's like what Tony Baker and Kev on Stage have done for years, where it's like the humility to just commit to affecting their platform and going, I have whatever the audience is, 1 or 1 million, I'm going to affect your day by bringing you content that is honest to me, and being committed to that, and then you just surrender the outcome. So that's the hardest thing for me, man, is learning to do that, because when you feel like you are capable of the moon, anything less than the moon becomes really uninteresting.
Dude, it's funny because Kev's he's told me at times where like he'll spend all this time on a video, and in his head, like he's like, as he's finishing, he's like, man, this is going to blow up.
This is the one that's going to go viral.
And then nothing. And then he'll do one where he'll be like, man, I got to put something up. So he'll do something real quick. And he'll be like, I don't really feel good about it. Put it up, and it goes viral.
That's the way.
It makes no sense.
I've heard so many stories from people about that, where it's like an artist will go, this is the song that's going to put me on the map. And it's some random song they recorded in 20 minutes that they just put out to the universe. And that's the one that ends up being the platinum single. You know, so it's like it's just the ability to learn to go, I can't control how you're going to perceive art.
Well, what you can control, though, Ed, is a plug. So give a plug. So this will go out tomorrow. Okay. So I don't know if there's something coming up that you want to plug.
Yeah.
And then also your social media shit.
A new-ish, I mean, it's new to the world. I got a mixtape out, If It All Falls, which is on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere where you can stream music. That's a little bit older, but I got an EP, Stranger Than Fiction, where we sampled, I like Quentin Tarantino, we sampled all of the major songs from Pulp Fiction and did a hip-hop project on that. That was pretty dope. Shit. And then I got a new song that'll be coming out here in about a month. That'll be the single that we launched, so that'll be dope. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube so I can get some stuff going. And what's
the handle?
Yeah, all of it's Eddie J Music.
Eddie J. J has 2 Y's in it, and Eddie is IE in it. Yep. EDDIEJAYY
Music.
And that's what they can look you up on iTunes and shit. Eddie J.
Eddie J. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Across the board.
And I will. I'm at Big RSJ on everything. Everybody knows that, and everybody knows that. I'm here at Brad Garrett's the rest of this week, and then next week I'm doing Chehalis, Washington, one nighter at Chehalis Theater, I believe it's on my website. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm in DC at DC Comedy Loft. It'll be my first time headlining there and doing the club. So go to Big RSJ for dates. And thanks, Ed, for doing this. Appreciate it.
Dude, I appreciate you.
It was great.